Bum bada bum bonanza. Bada bum. Hello, welcome back, everybody. It is that time to continue the reading. It is that time to continue the reading. I missed you guys. Did you miss me? How you been? It's been quite the day today. I will admit, it's been quite the day today. I'm Any of you guys had to deal with dentists lately? What's up with that? What's up? Hey, we'll go on. We'll go on with that. Please, everyone, come on in, take your shoes off, stay a while. I am your host, Keyth, man of letters, here to bring you knowledge, information, and at the very least, hopefully, a bit of, you guessed it, entertainment. Ooh, Y-Files is on tonight. We might have to all jump over to Y-Files after this. We are on chapter 5 of the Emerald Tablets, not the Emerald Tablets. We're on chapter 5 of the Kolbrin Bible, specifically the Kol book. We have finished the Egyptian bronze book, and we are on to the Celtic Kol book, the second book of the Kolbrin Bible. And it's been a beautiful one thus far. I absolutely love it. Why are you here? You are here to gather some spiritual knowledge. Hopefully, it just turns on a couple light bulbs for you. We're here to bring peace and solace to the soul. There is a massive amount of chaos out there right now, but there is so much peace inside, if you know how to find it. This, my friends, I assure you, is one of those ways. I hope you poured yourself some tea and you got ready. Hello, Rusty Utter. Hello, nice to see you, brother. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us. Cheers. Hold on, I released some music recently, and I got a wonderful message on our last single release, and it's making my heart warm. Sorry, I blacked out for a second there. I have to go see one, actually. Why? What's up? Someone did your teeth wrong? No, they did my teeth right. It just costs an exorbitant amount of money out here. It's probably going to go to Mexico. Probably going to go to Mexico because that's where everyone around here gets dental work done, because the U.S. healthcare system is just awful. It's just awful. Let's get going into this though. This raises my soul strings up, and it makes me happy. So we can crack into this. The real man. This chapter is called Man. The next chapter is called The Real Man. Attitudes. The weakling. All right. Looks like we've got some charged. Looks like we have some charged material here in front of us. You guys ready? Shall we proceed? Shall we proceed? Okay. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, welcome. Kolbrin Bible. Let's get into it, eh? Hello, Caleb. Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. We're cracking. Let's go. Kraken. Chapter 5. Man. Consider yourselves, my children, and meditate on the reason for your existence and the purpose for which you were brought into being. Contemplate your powers, ponder your circumstances, discover your inescapable duties, and face your earthly obligations. Assume your burdens cheerfully, for they are not imposed capriciously. The one God has set a hard task, but it is not beyond your capabilities. Remember that every affliction, however grievous and seemingly unnecessary, serves a purpose and end. Oh man, you are the delight and sorrow of your God. You have been set apart with peculiar favor and exalted above all other creatures. He has endowed you with reason to maintain your dominion. He has bestowed upon you the faculty of speech, that wisdom may accumulate throughout your generations. He has exalted your mind so that it may be perceptive of beauty and grandeur. He has ordained the law, which circumscribes your life and adjusted your nature to accord with your duties and destiny. Each man is an individual work of God, his mind a fragment of his will. The breath of God gives him life. The soul God formed you as he fashioned the beasts of the field and forest. He made you last and placed you at the pinnacle of creation. Command and jurisdiction over all were given unto you. From among the creatures of the forest and the beasts of the field you ascended in triumphant superiority, and your yoke is upon them. Be aware of yourself as the pride of God and the fruition of his desire. Nothing greater shall be created on earth. You are the vessel containing the essence of divinity, fashioned with the clay of matter. Behold, you have even the nature of God within you, and partake of his substance. Remember therefore your superior estate. Maintain the pride and dignity befitting your position, and descend not any mean or degrading thing. Remember, my children, that every man, whatsoever his nation or estate, is a man. Therefore never degrade anyone, for even the least among men is a candidate for godhood. Man can be whatsoever he wills, subject to the law. There is no limitation on man's potential achievements. Shoot for the moon and not for the treetops, for nothing is beyond your reach. Did God appear to man on earth, and man cast a spear at him? He would not blast man with wrath, but admire him for his audacity. Such is the attitude of God towards man. Thus God has made him. Therefore it is Thus God has made him. Therefore is it meet? Thus God has made him. Therefore it is meet that man should fawn upon him with servility. Man has the powers of reason, of decision. A wise father delegates responsibility to his children, and God does not unduly interfere in the affairs of men. Man is the Lord of creation and the heir to godhood. He can soar to the greatest heights, but also fall to the lowest depths. No man is wholly good, none wholly evil. The scales are never completely weighed down. No man can hold any desirable thing on earth or attain it in the regions of light without the expenditure of effort. No man can foresee the future or know what test the wise God has placed there for him. O man, mark this well. Never forget your goal of godhood, but vaunt not your godlikeness, for the beast dogs your footsteps, and an animal clothes your soul. You dwell beneath the dark shadow of the cloud of mortal ignorance. You live in a twilight dream state. You are deceived by your senses. You dream and say this is reality. You reason and are afraid. But know that all things real reside in God, and his wisdom stands beyond the bounds of reason. He has established the foundations of truth and reality for eternity. My children, man is not flesh and bone alone, but something more, something far greater than he can ever conceive at present. The eagle soars in the air above, not knowing that soon he will descend to earth and rise no more. The lion is unaware of the worms that will consume it. The ox knows not of the slaughterhouse. The ass knows not of the use of food, though its teeth chew the grasses and herbage. Something is added to mere man to raise him above the beasts. Something else exists within the space of his body. It is his soul. Is not the mortal substance of the body less perfect when the soul has departed? Now it will decay and fall apart. But is this not because the animating spirit is no longer there? The immaterial spirit has gone. Whence has it flown? The spirit departs, taking life and consciousness with it. That which came from the abode of a spirit has returned there. That which God gave of himself has returned to its source. Man, the receptacle of God and beast, has sundered apart at the touch of death, and each returns to its own. Man is the highest of the beasts, and the lowest of the gods. Man is the battleground of beast and God. End of chapter. What was that, 5? Chapter 5. All right, you gods among beasts. Did you enjoy the last chapter? If you're listening to this after the recording, please leave a comment and let us know how you felt about that last chapter. Let us know your thoughts. Be engaged. Here's a thought. How do you feel about being the highest of animals but the lowest of gods? Leave that in the comment. How do you feel about being the highest of animals but the lowest of gods? I'll start. I feel like personally, it seems almost not freeing, maybe liberating. It's almost like to be an animal is to have zero responsibilities, right? Because you're an animal. It's all impulse, all emotion, all chaos. It's all just here and now. But the God has the omnivision, can see, debatably past, future, and present. But Peter Parker, with great power comes great responsibility. So you get a nice blend of both. That's how I feel. That's my answer. How do you guys feel? Can we get everyone to hit that like button, please, so we can crack that algorithm? Thanks, much appreciated. Shall we continue? Let me check the comments on the live now. Caleb, Creative Mind, hola. Buenos tardes, Creative Mind. You friggin' you. I was gonna say you Europeans, you anyone who lives outside of the United States of America should be grateful for your healthcare systems, because the U.S. spends all our money. Actually, I don't even want to get into it. How's you guys' tea? Are you guys enjoying your tea? 555, a gift? Oh, it was 555. Caleb, are you here on the West Coast too? I thought you were somewhere in the Midwest, Caleb. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Okay, so we are on page 506 of 855. Northern, you're in Grass Valley? Dang, dude, I have people in Grass Valley, or I don't think they're there anymore, but I have people that came from Grass Valley, and they were all, yes, I'm a ganja planter, call me the ganja farmer, deep down under the earth when me put the ganja, Babylon come and light it up on fire, me chant. Yes, they were all ganja farmers, and they're killing it. Anywho, let's keep going. Welcome on in, everyone. We're reading from the Kolbrin Bible, some ancient spiritual texts that have lots of hidden wisdom in them that correlates with the Bible, with the Sumerian text. We've got the Great Flood, we've got the Sword and the Stone, we have all kinds of cool stuff in this text. Right now we're reading from the Book of Morals and Precepts, or something like that. And it's just dropping knowledge on us, right? We're taking in what we can, what we should, and taking everything with a grain of salt. Remember, messages tend to come with the flavor of their time, so it might not resonate with every word, with every stroke of the quill, but a lot of it has resonated. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. Canta. We did. We cantad. All right, let's go. Next. Chapter 6. The real man. Man is divided not only into nations, peoples, tribes, creeds, but also broadly in twain. There are among all men, all peoples, two kinds of man, the real man and the weakling. Those who are neither wholly one nor wholly the other, nevertheless tend towards the nature of one or the other. Consider the real man, the man who reaches out towards godlikeness. He is the man in whom God has succeeded. He is God's elect. He is like unto a spreading tree planted in black soil, which blossoms quietly and doubles the yield of its fruit in the summer. Its fruit is a delight to the mouth and fills the stomach with satisfaction. Beneath the canopy of its foliage, the weary find a pleasant refuge from the heat. In its shade, all men find peace and contentment. The weakling is like a tree whose leaves wither before the heat of the summer sun, whose fruit never reaches maturity, for it falls to the ground. Unripened and is trampled underfoot. Men avoid it, and the axe is laid against its bole. O real man, filled with the calm of strength, you are the true image of God on earth. Yours is the noble life, and your reward here shall be a body preserved in youthfulness. When in the fullness of time you make a When in the fullness of time you make the great journey westward, then shall your soul arise in the mysterious beyond, radiant in glory indescribable. Behold the uprightness of the real man. Is he not the father of the orphan and the husband of the widow, the brother of the forsaken and the guardian of the fatherless? Do not the friendless find in him a friend, and the poor a benefactor? It is not hard to give the needy within reach, or to help the weak when they are. It is not hard to give to the needy within reach, or to help the weak when they are at hand. But the real man works not in such narrow confines, for he stretches out his hand to those beyond. Watch him among the distressed. He talks with compassion and listens with understanding. See him among the lowly, how he deals with them in patience and kindness. Such men stand out among others, not only because of their own qualities, but because of the respect which others feel bound to accord to them. A great man is no less great, though he lie prostrated and vanquished in the dust. The real man accepts both victory and defeat for what they really are, a challenge to his manliness. The real man stands apart in greatness because of his outstanding qualities, his love of truth and justice, and his hatred of meanness and deceit. The great men may make great events, even as great events call forth great men. They are not always the children of fortune. Success and acclaim do not always attend their undertakings, but whether they rise or fall is of lesser importance than how they rise and fall. It is not what a man does that makes him great, but what he strives to achieve. The greatest men have no memorial if their endeavors were unpopular or not crowned with success. For every great man with a memorial, there are 1,000 unknown and unhonored. The real man remains unperturbed by the whims of life. He does not flinch before misfortune or ease his head when fortune smiles upon him. When misfortune descends upon his head and his hopes and dreams are shattered, he does not go about lamenting in a loud voice, but quietly continues his daily task. If fortune is gracious towards him, he braces himself and is not overwhelmed, for he knows that often it takes a better man to bear the bounty of fortune than to bear the burden of misfortune. The spirit of the real man does not bow before the blows of misfortune, no matter how grievous its afflictions. His calmness deflects its arrows, and his fortitude breaks its thrust. The shield of cheerfulness and the sword of courage he never discards in despair. His contentment is not dependent upon the whims of capricious fortune, and therefore he is not cast down by her indifference. Like the metal measure, he is unchanging under all stresses, but the weakling, like the balances of the scales, is always moving up and down. The real man stands before adversity as a rock before the raging seas, firm in the midst of turmoil, solid and calm against the fury. His mind forms great designs, and his spirit delights in their execution. His ideas grow up. They are never stillborn, nor do they wither before maturity. The examples of great men shine before him as visions in the night, and their precedents walk with him by day. His high-hearted love of life exalts the spirit within him. He strains at the traces and is impatient for the run. He rises above the rock of opposition and splits it in twain, as does the sapling. He's like the great oak, which rises above the shrubbery in the darkness and shakes out its branches in the glory above. He has compassion. He has compassion on the blind man. He helps the lame, and he guards the deformed and afflicted against the mockery of weaklings. He carries himself with a dignity becoming a man. He remains unshaken in calamity. Deceit and hypocrisy are things far beneath him. He has an air of quiet confidence and courage to speak the truth. The thoughts of his heart are the words of his mouth, and whatever he promises is as good as done. The real man is he who serves the purpose of God and carries out his plan. Because of him, all men rejoice for what they are, and the weakling he carries as his burden. The crown of glorious manliness is on his head. The mantle of courage is about his shoulders. He stands out from others in the pride and glory of his manhood. He treasures womanhood and the dreams of men. He is the master of earth and the Lord of creation. Nothing more is required of a man on earth than that he be a real man. This is a sufficient objective and difficult enough for any man to achieve. Manhood is a state of freedom, but its stronghold is in the spirit of a man. The body may be held forcibly in bondage, but the spirit cannot be shackled. He who lies imprisoned in the lowest dungeon may be more than free than he who walks above with a servile spirit holding him in thraldom. Servility is the brand of the weakling. Never judge a man according to his estate or circumstances, but accept him as a man according to his state of manliness. He that is manly hold as a man, even though he be your enemy. But he who is less than a man hold accordingly, though he be with you. For were your enemy a lesser man, he might proffer a hypocritical friendship, and thus destroy you by treachery. It is well never to forget that some friends might be enemies. Were they better men? Therefore, the measure of a friend's manliness may also be the gauge of his sincerity. A real man does not debase or humiliate the manliness. A real man does not debase or humiliate the manliness of a defeated foe, for in so doing he reveals his own baseness. It is well to remember that he who fights against you does so in the light of his own truth, and the truth is not the pawn of battles. A real man is hardy, tenacious, brave. He is gentle with women and hardy with men. He disciplines himself according to the manly code. He is generous and hospitable. He is alert and audacious. Comfort, intemperance, and overindulgence make weaklings. Struggle, adversity, and self-control make real men. A real man is a real man, and no power outside of him can take away his manliness. He is upright, strong, full of measure of respect for himself. He is a man of deeds and not an idler. In manner he is quiet and discreet. He is prudent in all things, and with all these qualities go generosity, good nature, reserve. Be not a loud-mouthed bag of wind. Be not a loud-mouthed bag of wind, for quietness within a man is as a rock, against which the tempest-driven waves of wrath and rage, rashness and haste dash in vain. It is far easier to be a weakling than a real man. Were the earth less harsh or the circumstances of life less austere, man would destroy himself before the shrine of the languid goddess. Only real men can make with safety. Only real men can make Only real men can with safety destroy the tangled forests and wildernesses of earth and make from them gardens. But will those who inherit the gardens be real men? The law decrees that they must be, or the wilderness will reclaim it as its own. He who would live in a garden must labor in the sun and subdue the soil. He who is content to live in the wilderness may sleep in the shade, but he is a slave of life. The real man stands out above all others. His head is high, his foot fall firm, his bearing is dignified, his face calm, hands steady, his heart tranquil. He sweeps aside all obstacles in his way, proceeds through all the dream fiends and powers of darkness seek to bar his way. He proceeds though all the dream fiends and powers of darkness seek to bar his way. Where is he who can gather the real... Where is he who can gather... Oh, I was one line away from finishing the chapter. The neighbors are all closing their cars and get ready to leave. Hold on. Where is he who can gather the real men together and make them rulers of all men, that earth may resound with glory and greatness? Boom. We're getting good work done tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, chapter 6, that was. Right? Chapter 6? Yes, we're on chapter 7, the weakling. The question you asked is super interesting, but really needs analysis, I think. I know, it would be nice to go a little deeper into that, wouldn't it? What do you mean man is the highest of the beasts and lowest of the gods? What do you mean, Basil? What does it all mean, Basil? What does it all mean, Basil? Music too loud? We can definitely lower that. All right. Hello, new joiners. Welcome in. Say hello. Introduce yourselves. How did you find yourself here? Or have you always been here? And if you choose to be a fly on the wall and just listen in, we also salute you. Thank you for allowing us to be that moment of respite in the background of your main quest on this earth. Thank you for allowing us to be a side quest on your main quest that offers some bit of sincere respite from the world. Thank you for letting us be that tavern in the middle of your trail. Much obliged. Okay. This next chapter is pretty short. Also, if you guys could hit the like button, that would be amazing too. Okay, thanks. Let's keep going. Actually, let me check something real quick. Time. That first one was quite long. 30, 45, 115, 120, 135. Maybe take away. We're at about an hour and 15 roughly of recording of this finished. We're doing good. Go team. Look at us. Go team. I'm listening while trimming some oregano. Oh, Sigil Hawthorne Cabrillo. Nice. Tis the season, ain't it? I blew it. We got Santa Ana winds here where I'm living. I'm drying my oregano in a den outside, so we're out of the sun, but still exposed to the relative humidity outside. And it was going perfect until a couple days ago when the humidity dipped to like 20% because of the winds we got. And everything just got bone crisp dried literally by morning. And I'm like, no. So Saturday, humidity is supposed to climb back up in a couple days from now. Because I don't want to pull it when it's this dry and lose all the oregano goodness. Anywho. Nice. I like your style. Okay, let's go. Next chapter. The Weakling. Chapter 7. The Weakling. The burden of the real man and the shame of the earth is the weakling. He frustrates the plan of God and degrades all men. The weakling is wicked of heart, for wickedness comes easily to men. It is easier to be wicked than to be good. It is easier to be weak than strong. The weakling is one who takes the easy path. The soul of the wicked man is wrapped in a winding sheet of hate, and corruption eats his spirit. He mocks, for mockery is an overspill of poison brewed in little hearts. The real man would rather be hated than mocked, for while men hate, cowards mock. The weakling fawns upon the rich and strong. He oppresses the weak, and his joy is the molestation of widows and the unprotected. He cannot show respect for anyone greater than himself, for all men are his superiors. Therefore, he shows a hypocritical respect only when profitable to himself. He cringes before the powerful and wreaks his will upon the helpless. His face is pressed into the dust before the seats of the mighty. But his understanding, inasmuch as the evil in his nature corrupts his spirit and renders him incapable worthy. Goodness and duty are beyond his understanding, inasmuch as the evil in his nature corrupts his spirit and renders him incapable of worthy deeds or noble service. Check. Is my mic turned up all the way? I think it is. Sorry, you guys. I didn't even check my inputs going to you guys until it was far too late. Forgive me. All right. The weakling is one in whom evil destroys the good. In the real man, goodness vanquishes evil. In the hour of danger, the weakling quails, his feeble spirit wilts, and his thoughts are confused. Everything he does is confounded. In the day of misfortune's blast, he sinks into the morass of cowardice and is overwhelmed by the black mire of despair. Abandon him to his fate, lest he drag you down to destruction. The very fear of a coward attracts the attention of misfortune and exposes him to danger. By quailing under poverty, he succumbs to meanness, and by tamely bearing insults, he invites assault. He feasts on the misfortunes of the weak and unprotected. The carcass left by the lion feeds the hyenas. Destruction follows in his footsteps, for it is easier to destroy than to build. There is no respect for his person or possessions, and his wife is open to the leers of fornicators and the jeers of her sisters. The weakling is not one weak in body, but one who is weak in spirit. Neither does strength of body make the real man, for manliness is of the spirit, not of the flesh. A weakling will even marry a common woman, whose husbands are 500, for his servile spirit rejoices in debasement. Mankind is divided in twain, real men and weaklings. Take your place with one or the other, for they will never be reconciled. It's the end of that chapter. A very short chapter. I like how it was. Some of these chapters are like 30 minutes long. That one was 5. He couldn't have just added that as a subclause to the last chapter. He was like, no. The weaklings get their own chapter. We need to make sure everyone knows what's good with the weaklings. Sigil, thank you for being here as long as that. Cheers. Claro, this respite, much appreciated. Same, I promise you I get the respite on my end as well. I really do. Next chapter is 8 attitudes of the real man towards the poor and weak. Towards wealth, towards servants, towards superiors. So this really is morals and precepts towards the wrongdoer, the unstable man, the mean man. It has all the different types of men. Ooh, chapter 15, women. Choosing a wife. I have a feeling choosing a wife chapter is going to be pretty dicey. I can imagine how the modern woman would feel about a man 2,500 years ago describing how you should pick a wife. That could go sideways real fast. We'll have fun with that. I lost my spot. Where were we? The weakling are the attitudes of the real man towards the poor and the weak. Thank you, Sigil. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, let's crack the next chapter. All right. And here we go. Chapter 8. Attitudes of the real man. 1. Toward the poor and weak. We have a truck starting up. Hold on, let him do his thing real quick. I hear him leaving. He sounds like an old towboat or something. Okay, sir, let's move it along, please. All right, he's far enough. Okay. Chapter 8. Attitudes of the real man. 1. Towards the poor and weak. Lend your arm to the aged, and open your purse at the cry of the poor. Guard well against the urge to plunder the unprotected and from treating the destitute with harshness. If you are lacking in compassion, it is well to remember that today one man may be rich and another poor, yet ere a year has passed, the rich man may be working in a stable. The poor may be clothed in fine linen. Such are the balances of life, and it is therefore wise to turn a like countenance toward all men. Help the man in unfortunate circumstances, for anyone can fall into the pit of misfortune. Commit no assault upon him by reason of his weakness, nor turn his predicament to your own advantage. Fill his stomach with bread and drink. Provide a place for him to lay his head. Let your countenance be cheerful towards him, and let words of encouragement fall from your lips. Assess honestly the boundaries of the widow's estate. The land that is lost to the plow is the waste of a man's lifetime. Do not deride the clumsy speech of a lowly man. The fine phrases of the rich man may be pretty things of no substance. Sincerity is rarely bedecked with finery. What a man has in his head and heart is more important than the fine words that fall from their lips. An honest man is slow of speech. He fumbles for words and is confused, but his eye is straight. The wily man is quick of speech. His wits are ever sharp from constant use. The just God turns a ready ear towards the outcry of the lowly. Therefore the prayer of the poor man is greater than the might of sharp weapons, even though he is of no account among the people of his own time, and the destitute of the power of fine speech. If you see an aged man staggering with the fullness of potent drink, lend him your arm, that his indignity may be lessened. Treat your elders with respect in the presence of their children. Sit not while an older man stands, or while the weak and afflicted have no seat. If any man himself being powerful robs the helpless, he shall be your enemy. Nor shall he be your enemy in secret, for this would make you a hypocrite. If you see injustice, hide it not in your heart, but cry it from the housetops. Does that go for taxes? It says, if any man himself being powerful robs the helpless, he shall be your enemy. Does that mean, because I'm almost positive the government's I'm pretty sure taxation is theft. I'm pretty sure if you choose not to pay your taxes, they show up at your, eventually down the line, it may take a couple years, they show up at your house with something that throws high velocity lead at you. Anywho, sorry, I didn't mean to go down that rabbit hole. I just saw something and I was like, whoa, time out. All right. Even though you lose your life thereby and your possessions are lost to your children, have no dealings with the robber of the weak and the oppressor of the helpless. Of his estate he is unworthy, and it is just that it be taken from him. The real man is the protector of the unprotected and counselor of the ignorant, for there will always be those who abuse power and strength to oppress them. They will rob the poor, oppress the afflicted, exploit the helpless man, and seduce the ignorant maiden from the household of her father. They burden the earth, and the real man knows how to deal with them. He shall wield the sword of vengeance in the name of the high God, and justice shall not weep outside the courtyard. Manliness carries its burden of responsibility. It is not a gown of fine linen, but a coat of mail. End of chapter 7. That's 6. This is chapter 7. This is chapter 8. 5, 10, 22-ish. 25 minutes or so. Well, this background music is like transporting me right now. Is the level better on the background music? Sorry if it's too much. The lighting creates a shadow that looks like we can see your third eye somehow. Vertical. It's not the shadow that's creating the third eye. It's the third eye that's creating the shadow. Just kidding. Man, I was mobbing through the mountains the other day, and my son grabbed poison oak with his bare hand, so I tried to rub it off his hand because it's an oil. If you get it off quickly, it just rubs off like coconut oil. You just have to get it off. So I'm trying to rub it off as good as I can, and it ended up spreading all over to me. So now I got poison oak all over my arm, and it itches. How you guys doing out there? Do you need a stretch? Are you drinking water? Are you happy? Are you fed? Are your basic needs met? Have you had a hug today? Have you had a proper hug today, even if your dog or your cat? I know cats can be bastards sometimes, but sometimes you can get a hug out of them. How you guys doing? Willie Mills, yeah, there's no dogs tonight. There's no dogs. They're like, all right, we can. Actually, to be fair, I've been chucking over edibles next door, so we should be fine for the rest of the night. You know how we do it, baby. Sometimes you just gotta mellow them out a little bit. You know what I mean? Hit them with that oregano. All right, let's go to the next chapter. Next chapter. If you guys are feeling so inclined and want to hit us with a super like, or a regular like, or a comment on the channel, or in my honor, drink yourself a nice tall glass of water. All of that would help me feel better, and in one way or another help the success of this channel. I love you. Let's start the next chapter, which is Chapter 9, The Real Man's Attitude Towards Wealth. Chapter 9, 2, Towards Wealth. If God has endowed you with riches, then regard them with pleasure, for the means to good deeds is in your hands. It is not sufficient for a rich man to give to the poor or to alleviate the distress of the needy. He who, having received abundance from God, doles out a pittance to the poor, does not salve his conscience, and is not truly walking with God. It is the duty of the rich man to cast the weight of his riches in the balances, that goodness may outweigh evil. It is the duty of the powerful man to range his might alongside the forces of good in the struggle against evil. He shall protect the poor against the exploiter and defend the weak against oppression of tyrants. It is not so important to give to the poor man as to remove the cause of his poverty. To help the weak is good, but of lesser importance than to attack the oppressor. The law decrees that the lot of no two men shall be alike. If it were otherwise, earth could not fulfill its purpose. But he who has riches or is powerful, but he who has riches or is powerful or handsome, he who has intellect and skill should bear in mind that he possesses these under the law, according to the bounty bestowed. So must be the return to the general welfare of man, and a proper accounting will be demanded by the assessors in the hall of terror. No man is the absolute possessor of riches or estate, for his period of ownership must duly come to an end. Rather is he the trustee of the riches at his command, and he should regard them accordingly. Look for the man of merit, and see that he does not go unrewarded. Encourage the craftsmen and promote useful works. Let your wealth serve all men and not be dissipated in selfish indulgences. Seek out the promoters of poverty and distress and cast your riches in the balances against them. Do not expect life to reward you or even grant you peace or pleasure. The powerful and strong will be your enemies, and even those you serve will betray. You will not be acclaimed and may even be derided as a fool. Only your soul will remain steadfast beside you. I've always had this in reference to that last paragraph. One of the things I want to do, the silliest thing I think I've ever heard is when people say stuff like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard this before, but they say, oh, the average person doesn't even understand how much money $1 billion is, and the average person couldn't even spend. Someone Google it. Should we Google this? Where they say the average person can't spend $500 million even if they tried, or something stupid like that. Let's see if we can. Let's see what that meant. Quote. I'm not finding the quote. Anywho, I think that's absolutely ridiculous. You want to know what I would do with my money? If I had just stupid amounts of money, I would spend it in a heartbeat. Here's one of my things I've always fantasized about. I would go to I would hire a team of scouts. You know how there's scouts for sports? I grew up, I played university baseball in San Francisco. We played scholarship, so there was a scouter, came to one of my baseball games, and he was like, yo, Keyth is killing it. Dope, let's get him. They called me, hey, would you like to play for San Francisco? And I was like, fuck yeah, let's run it. They're like, dope, here's how much you're going to get paid. Here's your scholarship, and we'll run it. So I did that, University, San Francisco. So that's scouting. They do it for sports, but I would have my own team of scouts for geniuses, and I would send them all over the world. And I'd be like, all right, find the most brilliant children you can find, and then somehow set them up with hire them and give them all the resources they can possibly like. I'm talking like the kids that live on landfills and somehow build working wind turbines and like produce fuel from rotting garbage to power generators and make their own homemade solar panels from junk. Like these brilliant kids out there, and just stick them in state-of-the-art labs and rooms and all the resources possible so they can just invent like free energy, bring back the pyramids. Oh man, I would put pyramids up all over the world on ley lines to heal people. I'd have like orgone generators the size of whatever the legal size is. I'm like, hey, I need a permit for a large building, and they're gonna be like, Keyth, sure. How big is the building? And I would say, as big as I can legally make one. And it would be a giant orgone generator to heal, and I would throw like as many up as I legally can. I would spend billions by the end of next week, as long as I had the right team around me. Anywho, how'd we get on this topic? How did we get here? Oh, the last chapter was talking about how the real man should spend his money, which is not just giving it away to the poor, because it says that's not really going to do anything. Like, great, sure, it's like it says you're not going to feel any better about yourself. What you should be doing with your money is balancing the scales, because at least maybe it was the same back then, but it would almost seem as if the scales right now are in favor of evil and corruption being the ones who have all the material financial wealth. So I found it interesting that this doesn't curse money and material wealth. It says if you're gonna have it, consider yourself not to don't act as if it is yours, because it is not yours, but that you are the trustee of such wealth, understanding that it came to you from somewhere and from you it will go elsewhere. And then at the moment you are the trustee of said wealth and fortune, and you must act accordingly. In not so many words. Poison oak is the breaks. I know. Yeah, it's all good. It happens. I was mostly just being a complainer. It's not that bad. But yeah, we've had it far worse before. Willie. Okay, let's run it. Let's run the next. We've been live for how long? It should say on here somewhere, right? An hour? Nice, we're making good time. Oh, dude, we're not even done with this chapter, huh? Where'd I leave off at? Please tell me I stopped recording. I didn't stop recording. I just started rambling. Hold on. Let's go ahead and delete that. I just rambled for how long? 5 minutes? It's funny, if I'm reading an audiobook, reading for 10 minutes seems like an eternity. But if I'm just talking, if I'm just ranting for 10 minutes, it goes by in the blink of an eye. All right, let's... Forgive me while I delete everything that I was just talking about so we can start fresh. Bada bing, bada boom. Some friends become enemies. Some enemies become friends. Oh, damn, did I lose that spot? Sorry, hold on. This is... Did I not snap loud enough? All right, there we go. Cool. Delete, please. Almost there. Steadfast beside you, Let me find my spot. A rich man. Rich man north of Richmond. Okay, let's go. A rich man is not wicked because of his riches, for this of itself neither makes a man wicked nor makes him good. It is the manner whereby he deals with his riches that determines a man's status. Live in moderate comfort and maintain a position according to your estate. Stint not in the acquisition of learning and things of beauty. Shun ostentation and publicity, for these are props of the weakling. The riches which exceed your modest requirements are superfluous to your welfare. It is by your dealings with the surplus that you will be judged. There is little advantage in the mere possession of riches. Can't talk right now. There is little advantage in the mere possession of riches. The advantage is gained in knowing how to use them. Wait not until men come seeking your compassion. Find them first and assist them without desiring praise or benefit. Let not your generosity be hampered by the riches you have. Rejoice in their possessions, for if used for good, your pleasure is without blame. But he who stores up riches beyond his need and puts them to no good use swathes his soul in the wrappings of death. If rich, become not puffed up because of your possessions, or if poor, be not downhearted, for God in his goodness metes out happiness to both. Count not upon your friends if you are rich and powerful, for they are untried. Can a man of title and position ever be sure he is loved or respected for himself? If the poor man is held in high regard, he can be happy in the assurance that it is for himself alone, and he is at peace. Possessions and position attract friends as honey attracts bees, but it is adversity which winnows them. Men test gold for its value, and gold tests men for their worth. To gather riches for their own sake corrupts the soul, but to deal with them to benefit. To gather riches for their own sake corrupts the soul, but to deal with them to the benefit of others beautifies the soul. See the face of the miser and imagine the dark horror it dimly reflects. And behold the face of the benevolent man. Does it not mirror the radiance within? If on earth man is to learn the eternal values, he must be taught through the perception of earthly values. The contrast of riches and poverty serves its end. Oh, I love that last part. It says, count not upon your friends if you are rich and powerful, for they are untried. Can a man of title and position ever be sure he is loved? If the poor man is held in high regard, he can be happy in the assurance that it is for himself alone, and he is at peace. Possessions and position attract friends as honey attracts bees, but it is adversity which winnows them. Men test gold for its value, and gold tests men for their worth. Whoo! If we were Ralph Smart, we would have to slow motion that one. If we were Ralph Smart, we would have to slow motion that one right there. Hold on, I'm going to... I want to record that last one for... I want to record that last one as a clip so that I can have more content to put out. Meaning, allow me to repeat that one more time, you guys. I have my phone set up over here. Naga. More light required? What do you mean more light required? That's enough light, no? No, that's fine. You have enough light. That's enough light. Oh, that's perfect lighting. What are you talking about? I got bags under my eyes. I need to get more sleep or meditate more. It's been a it's been a bumpy ride. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna record this real quick. One more time. Count not upon your friends if you are rich and powerful, for they are untried. Can a man of title and position ever be sure he is loved and respected for himself? If the poor man is held in high regard, he can be happy in the assurance that it is for himself alone, and he is at peace. Possessions and position attract friends as honey attracts bees, but it is adversity which winnows them. Men test gold for its value, and gold tests men for their worth. There was... Never mind, that's just... It's a side quest story. We'll save the side quest story for another video. There was a time I used to look into my father's eyes in a happy home. I was a king, I had a golden throne. Whoa, oh. Good night, Gene. Thanks for hanging out with us while you did. Bless you as well, but thank you, Reading, for sharing these with us. Absolutely. Thanks for hanging out, Gene. Give France our regards. Give France our regards. S'il vous plaît. What do you guys want, another chapter or what? We're at the hour mark. I'm gonna need some more likes hit on the video for some more. If you guys want to run this, if you guys want to run some more, I'm just begging for likes here. Just hit me one, or just think about hitting the like button. If you've already hit it, think about hitting the like button, and that might be enough to push it. It's kind of like fairies. If you clap real fast, you can bring the fairy back to life. Oh, this is... And here we go. Part 3, Chapter 10, Towards Servants. Be just to your servant if you expect faithful service from him. And if you would have his obedience, be reasonable in your commands. The spirit of manhood is in the slave, yes, it even slumbers in the craven-hearted. Undue harshness towards your subordinates may create a fear of you. But you will never command their love and respect. Mitigate reproof with kindness and temper authority with reason. So shall the labor of your servants become a pleasure and your benefit therefrom be the greater. He serves faithfully who is motivated by gratitude. Loyalty follows in the train of respect. No man knows what events lie in the womb of the future or what calamities lurk in the shadow of days yet to come. When evil times fall upon a man, it is the trusted servant who will sustain him. When dissatisfaction is rife among the servants, it is a time of calamity. If in return you fail to reward loyalty and diligence, then you are unworthy of honest service. Deflect no man from the proper course of his duty, for this is a contemptible thing. Steal not the loyalty of a servant from his master, for this is unworthy of a man. A master who treats a faithful servant meanly is an unworthy person, and whatever his titles and estate fit only to be A master who treats a faithful servant meanly is an unworthy person, and whatever his titles and estate fit only to be classed among common pinch purses. It's actually a really short chapter. That was it. Sigil. That is just the kindest comment. Kindest comment. Not gonna lie, trimming up some oregano while listening to something nice and soothing in the background, and it sounds really nice for me right now. I have a lot of oregano to be trimmed, and that sounds nice too. There's something meditative about trimming oregano, isn't there? Like, I look at it sometimes and I'll just be like, man, I just want to have at it for 10-15 minutes and just maybe I'll fill up a jar, just I don't know what it is. Let me see how long this next chapter is, and if it's short, we can all right, this one's kind of long. Superiors, servants, pinch purses. This next one's long, so we'll call it at that, you guys. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me thus far. I appreciate the hell out of each and every one of you. Willie, Gene, Naga of the Hill, Sigil, Mr. Cabrillo. Who else do we have? Creative Mind. Gracias a ti, Creative Mind, if you're still here. Caleb, if you're still here. Thank you guys for hanging out. I have made it a personal goal to just run something every single day. I'll try to do a live every day. If not a live, at least I'll put something out and we can have some kind of dialogue, some kind of sticking together. Follow me on Instagram, you guys. If you ever want to chat, hit me up. Keep up to date with things, or if you want to hit the Etsy shop for candles, you want to buy some candles, we have our seeds on the Etsy shop. If you want some Man of Letters oregano, hit me up, Instagram. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of questions through YouTube, which isn't the easiest platform for conversations and dialogues. So if you're trying to have actual conversation and dialogue, hit me up on Instagram. It's I am Keyth G. I am Keyth G. And I can further assist you there. But thank you guys for being here. And I know, Gene, I know vous is very formal, but I don't know how the formality translates to French. It's s'il te plaît, right? If it's just homies, but I feel like I like pretending to be proper. Like the Hobbit in me comes out and I'm just like, s'il vous plaît. Like, merci. S'il vous plaît. Thanks you guys. I'll see you guys soon. Gene, have a good sleep. Rest easy, and good night everyone else. Good night everyone else. I'll see you soon. Bye. Au revoir. Au revoir. Yeah, how do you say until next time? Oh man, I'll freshen up on my French for you, Gene, and we'll see if we can chat. Anywho, bonsoir. Adios. Good night.